FIFA has never liked Cristiano Ronaldo. That's not a conspiracy, it's a pattern. From overlooked awards to awkward public jabs, the world's most powerful football institution has spent years keeping one of its greatest players at arm's length. While the world debated goals, trophies, and greatness, something more subtle was unfolding behind the scenes. A quiet resistance, not from Ronaldo, but against him. Not because he lacked talent, but because he refused to be molded. This wasn't a football rivalry. It was a silent power struggle, a clash between a global institution obsessed with control and an unstoppable force they couldn't contain. Ronaldo didn't just challenge defenders on the pitch, he challenged the system off it. And for that, he paid a price that didn't show up on stat sheets. This is the untold story of the unspoken war between FIFA and Cristiano Ronaldo.
From the very beginning, Cristiano Ronaldo was built differently. He wasn't just another talented teenager with dreams. He was a phenomenon waiting to explode. Born in Madeira, raised with grit, and forged in the crucible of elite football, Ronaldo combined raw athleticism with relentless drive. He had the feet of a magician, the physique of a sprinter, and the mentality of a soldier. Clubs saw it, coaches saw it, fans felt it, and marketers couldn't get enough. He was tall, charismatic, camera-ready, a dream for endorsements, and a natural face of modern football. But while brands flocked to him and stadiums roared with his name, one door remained half open: FIFA's. Despite his meteoric rise, FIFA never truly embraced him, not like they did others. While young stars like Lionel Messi were celebrated as the future of football, Ronaldo was simply acknowledged. He wasn't anointed, he was endured. From early snubs in youth awards to subtle cold shoulders at ceremonies, the message was always the same. Ronaldo was great, but he wasn't their kind of great. He was too polished, too ambitious, too independent. FIFA, an organization built on hierarchy and narrative control, never saw Ronaldo as their poster boy. And as his legend grew without their blessing, it became clear this wasn't just a preference, it was a problem.
The first signs were easy to miss, hidden in the haze of rising stardom and crowded award shows. In 2003, Cristiano Ronaldo was already dazzling with his debut at Manchester United. In 2004, he helped lead Portugal to the Euro final at just 19 years old. Each year, he evolved. More goals, more assists, more impact. But when the prestigious Golden Boy Award was handed out in those early years, his name was missing from the winner's podium. In 2003, it went to Rafael van der Vaart. In 2004, Wayne Rooney took the honor. Respectable choices, but in 2005, something shifted. That year, Ronaldo erupted. 9 goals and 9 assists for United, a standout run with Portugal, delivering 13 goal contributions in 12 matches during World Cup qualifiers. He was no longer just flair, he was the end product. But when the winner was announced, it wasn't him. It was Lionel Messi. A young genius, yes, but one who had only played 9 senior matches that season. He'd shown in the U20 World Cup, a tournament Ronaldo hadn't even been a part of because he was already dominating at the senior level. It wasn't just a snub, it was a signal. Performance alone didn't matter, not if the narrative was more compelling elsewhere. Ronaldo, the tireless engine blazing through elite competition, was overlooked in favor of a quieter, more romantic storyline. FIFA wasn't just choosing winners, they were choosing symbols. And in that equation, Ronaldo was too sharp, too loud, too uncompromising. From the earliest stages, he wasn't the golden boy. He was the outsider, shining too brightly to ignore, but somehow always easy to pass over. As Ronaldo's career surged forward, the pattern hardened into something undeniable. He wasn't just being overlooked, he was being sidelined. In 2007, after a blistering season that saw him drag Manchester United back to Premier League glory with 23 goals and 14 assists, Ronaldo had broken barriers for a winger. In the Champions League, he completed a staggering 20 dribbles in a single match, still an untouched record. His influence was everywhere. And yet, when FIFA revealed the shortlist for World Player of the Year, his name wasn't even in the top 2. At the award ceremony, the embarrassment was literal. Sepp Blatter took the stage. Kaká was named the winner. Messi took second, and Ronaldo third. But the indignity didn't end there. As he stood under the spotlight, cameras rolling, FIFA handed him the wrong award. He was forced to switch it out on stage, fumbling with plaques in front of the footballing world. Whether it was a mistake or something more deliberate, it didn't feel accidental. Not to him, not to the millions watching. By 2013, it should have been impossible to ignore him. Ronaldo had scored 69 goals across all competitions, carried Portugal to the World Cup with a supernatural display against Sweden, and dominated European football like a man possessed. But even then, it wasn't enough. Reports surfaced of FIFA extending the Ballon d'Or voting period only after massive public pressure just so voters could reassess. When Ronaldo finally won, he cried, but not out of joy, out of exhaustion. Because for him, recognition never came naturally. It had to be pried from the grip of a system that never seemed eager to give it. Behind every late-stage vote, every award show snub, and every awkward exchange, a larger question loomed louder. Why does FIFA never fully back Cristiano Ronaldo? Why did his brilliance have to fight for legitimacy while others were crowned with ease? The answer was becoming clearer. This wasn't about statistics anymore. It was about structure, about a man who refused to play along and an institution that didn't know what to do with him.
If there was a moment when Cristiano Ronaldo stopped playing along, it came in 2013. That year he was untouchable. 69 goals in a single season, a Champions League titan, and the savior of Portugal's World Cup hopes with a hat-trick that left Sweden stunned. The footballing world watched in awe. And yet as the Ballon d'Or deadline approached, he wasn't the favorite. Behind the scenes, whispers grew louder. FIFA was preparing to hand the crown elsewhere. But then the pressure came. From fans, from the media, from players. The deadline was quietly extended. And finally, Ronaldo won. But his tears on that stage weren't of triumph. They were relieved, maybe even exhausted. Because deep down, he knew this wasn't a moment of celebration. It was survival. Every inch of recognition had to be fought for. Every accolade felt conditional. He wasn't being honored. He was being tolerated. And just weeks later, FIFA President Sepp Blatter stepped onto the stage at Oxford Union and made a joke. The kind that says more than it seems. One of them is a good boy, he said about Messi. The other goes to the hairdresser a lot. Laughter followed, but Ronaldo didn't laugh. To the public, it might have seemed like banter. To Ronaldo, it was a line crossed, not just by anyone, but by the man who led the very organization responsible for celebrating the sport's best. At that moment, the curtain dropped. Ronaldo stopped pretending. No more smiles at ceremonies, no more polite thank yous, no more playing the game outside the game. He started skipping events. He stopped acknowledging honors from people who never truly respected him. Because he understood now. This wasn't his house. He wasn't one of them. He was just passing through. And that's when the relationship shifted permanently. Ronaldo became a figure FIFA couldn't predict, couldn't manage, and couldn't claim credit for. A man they didn't shape and couldn't control. And in a system built on compliance, that made him dangerous. Not to the sport, but to the structure.
They didn't need to ban him. They didn't need to announce anything. They just stopped saying his name. That's how Cristiano Ronaldo began to fade, not from football, but from the narrative FIFA controlled. It started subtly, a missing tribute here, an unexplained absence there. In 2018, despite another Champions League title, 44 goals in 44 matches, and a jaw-dropping hat-trick against Spain at the World Cup, Ronaldo didn't win. Luka Modric did. A great player, no doubt, but even the numbers couldn't justify the choice. And when Ronaldo raised questions, the response wasn't engagement, it was dismissal. He was called bitter, petty, ungrateful. Then came 2019. Ronaldo was still dominating headlines, still lifting trophies. He was the face of EA Sports' FIFA video game, plastered across menus, trailers, promotions. And then, without warning, he was gone, replaced. Not a word from FIFA, just silence. The timing wasn't random. Months earlier, Ronaldo had faced an accusation he denied publicly. No charges, no conviction, no trial. But in FIFA's world, the presumption of innocence was overridden by the convenience of removal. They called it standard procedure. They called it brand alignment. But fans saw what it really was: erasure. And it didn't stop. That same year, Mohamed Salah won the Puskas Award for a goal that didn't even win Goal of the Month, while Ronaldo's bicycle kick, an instant classic, arguably one of the greatest goals in Champions League history, was ignored. When he celebrated passionately, he was labeled arrogant. When others did worse, they were counseled quietly behind closed doors. Ronaldo's missteps became scandals. His confidence became ego. His ambition became defiance. This wasn't about fairness. It was about framing. And the frame FIFA chose for Cristiano Ronaldo was always tilted, always distant. The applause grew quieter. The spotlights dimmed, not because he was fading, but because someone turned the volume down. When FIFA couldn't control his story, they simply stopped including him in it.
Cristiano Ronaldo was never meant to fit the mold. He didn't walk the quiet path or play the humble prodigy. He built his legacy brick by brick, sprint by sprint, goal by goal, never waiting for permission. While FIFA found their ideal ambassador in Lionel Messi, reserved, gentle, apolitical, Ronaldo was the opposite: loud, chiseled, unapologetically ambitious. He didn't conform to the script, he rewrote it. And that's what made him dangerous, not to opponents, but to the institutions that prefer compliance over charisma. He was more than a footballer. He was an empire. Fragrance lines, hotels, fitness brands, global sponsorships. Ronaldo didn't rely on FIFA spotlight because he had his own. From Madeira to Manchester, Madrid to Turin, he carried his name and his image like a business, like a movement. That kind of independence wasn't celebrated. It was punished. Because in FIFA's world, greatness was supposed to come with gratitude. Quiet success was easier to manage. But Ronaldo didn't whisper. He roared. And every time he asked for fairness instead of flattery, it rattled the system. He didn't soften interviews to sound polite. He didn't pretend not to care about records. He wanted greatness, and he said it out loud. And in a sport governed by committees, panels, and branding consultants, that made him an outlier. Messi fit the frame. Ronaldo shattered it. And institutions don't know how to reward a legend they didn't help create. So instead of embracing him, they excluded him, quietly, persistently. But here's what they didn't realize. Greatness doesn't need validation. It lives in numbers, in memories, in echoes. And Ronaldo's legacy? It was never built for FIFA. It was built for the world.
Cristiano Ronaldo didn't need a governing body to define his career. because the world already had. While FIFA clung to ceremonies and silence, Ronaldo kept writing history in boots and sweat. 935 goals, over 120 international strikes, league titles across England, Spain, Italy, and now Saudi Arabia. 5 Ballon d'Ors, dozens of records that will outlive presidents and policy changes. And yet, with every milestone, the recognition from football's highest institution grew quieter. No tweets, no highlights, no congratulations, just a calculated pause, as if pretending he didn't exist could somehow undo what he'd done. But silence doesn't erase greatness. It only exposes those too fearful to acknowledge it. Cristiano Ronaldo never asked to be a mascot. He never wanted to be molded into a smiling symbol of corporate politeness. He asked to be judged by his impact, his output, his legacy. And when that made the room uncomfortable, the room turned its back. Not because he wasn't great, but because he was great on his own terms. FIFA may control the stage, the trophies, the headlines, for now. But time has its own scoreboard. And in that timeline, Cristiano Ronaldo isn't just present, he dominates. Not through narratives carefully crafted in press rooms, but through numbers etched into football's DNA. Generations from now, fans won't remember who posted what or which gala he skipped. They'll remember the goals, the leaps, the relentless pursuit of more. Because legacy doesn't need a microphone. It just needs truth. FIFA tried to write him out, but Ronaldo's story had already been told by the pitch, by the people, and by a career that refused to be anything less than legendary.